How's it going, everyone? Mega Mashers here, and I bring you guys kind of like a follow-up video from my Rate My Team 2 video, where I feature the Fire Water Grass Core and the Dragon Steel Fairy Core. Now, those first three videos do not have any battle footage, which I should have supplied you with battle footage, but at the same time, my intent for the first few videos was to showcase what a team that's well built should look like at the end process. So, I did also mention in one of my previous videos that I was going to be supplying you guys some battle footage using those three teams and demonstrating to you the effectiveness of those teams. Now, what I have for you guys here, I have a few battles that I have done recently, actually not even like 20 minutes ago, and I want to showcase you guys how I have played these teams. Now, I will make a disclaimer that I did not make the best plays. Like, I am extremely rusty right now when it comes to battling because it's been so long since I battled. But you know what? You live and you learn. As long as you can take something positive from a battle, whether you win or whether you lose, and you turn that into knowledge that in which you know for next time to make you a better battler, then it's all good. It's all gravy. So with that being said, it's time to show you my first battle in my comeback. Woo! So I lead with my Gyarados, my opponent leads with Alakazam. I Mega Evolve right away, and then of course the Psychic comes and does nothing to me. I Dragon Dance, and then I take out the Alakazam no sweat. I thought I was going to have a Sash, and then of course I thought this was going to be the Mega, but turns out that had a freaking Focus Sash, and it takes me out. Nicely played. So my Mega Dose is gone, and of course I go into Bisharp, and I go for Sucker Punch because I'm like, okay, I need to take this thing out. And then of course here comes the Mega Medicham. I haven't seen one of these around in a long time. And then of course I go for the Sucker Punch, trying to get off as much damage as possible, but that Drain Punch takes me down, and he gets pretty much all his health back. Now of course with Clefable, I engage in a little bit of a Wish Stall War, so at this point here, I'm just, Wish Protect stalling until I can get up to a good amount of HP to where I can take this thing out and go from there. So, he keeps attacking, going for Psycho Cut. I would much prefer Zen Headbutt. That's slightly more powerful. Though Psycho Cut doesn't miss, so it does have the reliability and accuracy. Finally, I take it down. Then, of course, here comes Metagross. And then, of course, that Bullet Punch. I take that Bullet Punch with 1% remaining. Holy shit. So at this point, I'm just like, okay, it's time to Wish and get some health back. So I switch out, go into Chestnut. He is a reliable tank that can just eat up pretty much any physical hit as long as it's not any flying hits. That's not good. So anyways, in comes Meowstick and starts setting up them damn screens. And I'm like, okay, well, this thing can't really do anything to me damage-wise, so I'm just going to set up my Stealth Rocks, and then it's going to set up its light screen. I'm just going to say Roar, and you're done. And then, of course, in comes Malamar, and it goes for that contrary superpower, so I'm like, okay, I need to use Roar and roar this thing out to get rid of its boosts. So you see here, I go back, my opponent goes back into its Metagross, and I predict the Earthquake, come in with Chestnut, and I take it very nicely. Then, of course, I take that critical hit Meteor Mash pretty nicely, too. Then I go for a Leech Seed and get some health back. And, of course, I know Meteor Mash isn't going to take me out at that point, so it's like, okay, Drain Punch for a little bit of damage and a little bit of health regained. And it's at this point here, where I go for Spiky Shield, and then I end up predicting a Psychic attack, and then I switch into Heatran. And then this is where my opponent suddenly becomes inactive and actually goes offline. So I'm like, okay, maybe there's an issue with that person's internet. I'm not going to battle time them out. But it's like I waited literally for 1 hour. And I'm just like, okay, dude. Like, I even messaged this person. I'm like, are you okay? Are you busy? Whatever. Like, it's cool. Like, if you are busy, just let me know, and I can, like, pause the battle. Well, you can't really pause the battle, but you can make sure the battle timer's not on so that the person doesn't get inadvertently timed out. I hate when that happens. But I waited till 11 o'clock, one whole hour, and I was like, okay, dude, like, I'm sorry I gotta be the douchebag to put on the timer, but it's like I gotta put the timer on and move on, man. I gotta claim victory somehow. And it kind of looks like that I was gonna win the battle anyways, because the advantage is in my hands. So that's all for battle number 1. It is time for battle number 2. So this next battle I'm going to present to you is a battle that I have lost, and you know what? This person took advantage of the situation, especially in the fact that Weather Wars, even though weather got seriously nerfed this generation, do not under any circumstance underestimate weather-based teams, because if you are unprepared, they will fuck you up. And, well, I kind of got fucked up in this battle, but regardless, I'm going to show it to you because I'm proud of this battle. So, woo! Let's go with number 2. So you see, I lead with Gyarados again, and I go for that substitute, predicting a Toxic. And of course I get Encored, and I'm like, well, damn it, I thought it didn't go through substitute. I had a Mind Block, and remembered it did. I was like, well, fuck, dude. So I double into Chestnut, and I got half my health taken from Hydro Pump. That stab boosted in the rain, boosted with Life Orb. I'm just like, damn, man. So I get taken out with Draco Meteor. And I'm like, damn, that's even worse. So there goes my Chestnut. Bring in Kieran Black. And I go for the Dragon Claw. Now, see, here's the thing. Here is where I make a big mistake of epic proportions. I should have predicted that my opponent was going to switch out Politoed and go into Ferrothorn. I should have switched into Heatran and therefore put a little more pressure on him, but I've done goofed. And I'm okay with that. You live and you learn, right? So there you see, Ferrothorn takes that Fusion Bolt nicely. And then I switch out into Heatran, and then I get Leech Seed put on me. So at that point I set up my Stealth Rocks, sets up more Leech Seed. Maybe he was predicting a switch. So he switches, goes into Politoed, goes for the Rain. Now I go for the Lava Plume hoping for a burn. And of course, that chance didn't pay off. That's fine. So I go back out into Gyarados, and he goes into Kingdra. Now this is where I Mega Evolve, and I Earthquake him. Now he lives with 7% HP, and of course, he takes me out with Draco Meteor, and he ends up taking himself out with Recoil. Now this right here is where I make another mistake. I over-predicted. I predicted him to go into something like Thundurus or even Ferrothorn or even Mega Swampert. But I guess the person kind of knew that I was about to over-predict, where hindsight being 2020, I should have been a little bit ballsier and went for the Fusion Bolt. But you know what? That's fine. That is fine. Goes for the Ice Beam. And I knew that Manaphy couldn't really do anything to Kieran Black right off the bat without any boosts. And this is where I make another mistake. I make quite a few mistakes here. Just putting it out there. I should have predicted the switch and gone for an Ice Beam on Swampert, and that would have done actually quite a bit of damage. But you see, he's immune to electric type attacks. And I go for the Ice Beam again, and that would have been a 2-hit KO if I had have gone for the Ice Beam as predicted. Of course, I bring out Clefable and I protect, stalling out the Rain, and that works on my end. He switches back out, goes back into Politoed. I go for the Wish, and then he goes for Scald. Doesn't do that much, and I Moonblast him, hoping to take him out, but that doesn't work. And then he Encores me into Moonblast, but that's okay. I thought at that point that the Rain setter-upper was over, with like that. There was no way that this person was going to be able to set up Rain. So anyways, I go into Moonblast, and I'm hoping for this to take him out. Okay, like, I'm living. And then he lives with 2% HP. I'm like, oh no. Oh no, that's not good. And I go for Protect to stall it for a little more recovery, hoping to possibly live a Scald on a low roll, but I don't. So Manaphy, like, is just cleaning house right now. And of course, I thought that at that point he was going to go for another attack. That's why I went for Sucker Punch. And then comes Ferrothorn. I go for the knockoff. And that does a little bit of respectable damage. But I take a hell of a lot of damage in the process. So I switch back out into Heatran. And then, of course, here comes the fucking Leech Seed Stall combo. Oh my god. Now he goes for double protect and it actually works. That is very ballsy on his part. I give him kudos. And yeah, so I end up taking out his Ferrothorn, but at the cost of what? Because now Heatran's kind of in a bad way, and then of course Thundurus. I'm like, okay, I can take an attack, and then comes the fucking prankster Rain Dance. This is where I did not see this coming. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh my god. Very, very innovative on this person's part. I gave him huge kudos, and he won the battle fair and square. And I invited this guy to my channel because he was a really chill person that I communicated with during this battle. We complimented each other's teams, man, and it was a barrel of fun, man. It was a barrel of fun. So that's it for battle number 2. It's time to move on to battle number 3. So this next battle that I present to you presents pretty much Kieran Black slaughtering this team. Well, it didn't slaughter in the case where it was 6-0, but you know what? Rather than just explaining it, just watch this. So here I am on the other side once again. I go for that Earth Power. Excadrill, gone. Altaria. Now, what was this person thinking? Ice Beam, gone. Oh boy. And hit Pout on him. Just like, are you kidding me, dude? Ice Beam is gonna take it out. Like, what? Oh, man. I get buffeted by Sandstorm. Now, Gengar. I thought this Dazzling Gleam was gonna take me out, and it didn't. Then I go for that Earth Power. Thanks to Terravolt, that Levitate doesn't even matter. And I go down myself. Then here comes Heatran. And it goes for Glare. I'm like, what? Okay, this is interesting. I'm all for new sets. So it switches out, goes into Magnezone. I go for that Lava Plume. And then I get switched out for some reason. I go back into Bisharp, and this thing goes for Iron Head. I'm like, what? I have never seen a physical-based Magnezone before. Are you serious, dude? And then, of course, that Leaf Storm gets that contrary boost, and I go for that knockoff. And then Sucker Punch, and, well, that was a very quick battle. Oh my god. I was like, whoa, dude. Like, I'm not sure if this player knew exactly what they were doing. Like, maybe they wanted to try something different and didn't pan out. Maybe it's just one of those cases, but it's like, wow. Physical Magnezone. I have never, ever seen something like that before. I mean, you know what? Maybe it could work. Maybe it could actually work. I mean, there's that surprise factor, right? But if you're going to sacrifice your base 130 special attack compared to your base 70 attack, it's like, wow. I wouldn't do it. It's not worth it, but that's just me. Anyways, that was battle number 3, a very short and quick, epic, just, destruction for Kieran Black. So, let's move on to the next battle. So this is battle number 4. This is a battle that I did lose, but you know what? With every battle that involves good sportsmanship, you really have nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to winning and losing. I mean, as long as you're a good sport about it, your opponent's a good sport about it, battles are fucking awesome. And you know what? Like I said before, if you walk away from a battle with something positive, in your own way, you win too, because that's something that you can use and implement as an advantage for you for next time. So enough rambling. Let's get on with battle number 4. So here I go with Mega Gyarados, and this goes for Thunder Punch. I'm like, holy shit, I did not see that coming. I'm like, whoa, dude. So it's like, wow. Like, right off the bat, I was thrown in a loop. Of course, I didn't think that it was going to U-turn out. I thought maybe it would Flare Blitz me or some shit like that. But of course, I go into Heatran, And then what I end up doing, I set up my stealth rocks, and then I'm like, okay, this thing's gonna earthquake me. I need to get the fuck out. And then Chestnut eats up that earthquake alive. And then this is where we just set up on each other's side of the field with tons of entry hazards. But I go for Drain Punch to get some damage off on Ferrothorn. It does a pretty decent chunk. So he sets up spikes. I set up spikes. He sets up spikes. I go for Drain Punch again. And that does almost half. He goes for spikes again. And then I go for spikes. He goes for Toxic, and that misses. Very unfortunate on that end. But, you know, shit happens. I go for Drain Punch, and I take it out. So, now we're 5 versus 5. Now the playing field is kind of even. And then here comes Infernape. So this is what I do. I go for Spiky Shield to get a little bit of damage off thanks to the effect from Spiky Shield. And then I end up getting crit and burned. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Seriously? So it's like, that was just some real big luck right there. Like, hacks fucked me up the ass in that situation. So I go for Spiky Shield, and then it's just like, okay. This is where I go for Spiky Shield again, predicting maybe a Bullet Punch to take me out, but prediction on that part, and goes for Swords Dance. I'm like, oh boy. So I'd bring my Heat Train in, takes a hell of a lot of damage from entry hazards, goes for that 4 times resisted Bullet Punch. I go for the Lava Plume, take it out. So now we're 4 versus 4. And this right here, I go for the Lava Plume to try and get a burn. And he goes for Power Up Punch. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, dude, wow. I never seen that coming. And of course I get the burn there. And he goes for the Power Up Punch again. Now, here's the thing. I thought he was going to go for Power Up Punch again. So I go for the Roar. But see, he goes for Earthquake. Hindsight being 2020, I should have gone for Lava Plume. And perhaps maybe knocked it out or got a crit or something like that. So now here comes the Gengar. Now this Gengar here is what threw me in a complete loop. I did not see this coming whatsoever. So I switch in my Bisharp, and of course, the Hypnosis goes off. I'm like, I cannot believe there's a fucking Gengar with Hypnosis. So I'm like, dude, man, this is crazy. So I go for the Aromatherapy to wake up Bisharp, and I knew at that point, my Clefable was pretty much done. So I go into Kyurem Black. And then he goes for Shadow Ball, and I'm like, okay, I need to take this bitch out. So now, Gengar's done, but guess what? Kyurem Black is also done. So now, it all lies on the shoulders of Bisharp. Can this thing take out Garchomp with Sucker Punch? But then here comes Mega Garchomp. And then he Earthquakes me into oblivion. And that is where Dana gets the victory. And it was a great battle. It was, like I said, I got nothing to be ashamed of when it comes to winning and losing, especially if your opponent is a good sport. Like, that eases the pain a little bit of losing. And even still, losing shouldn't be painful. I mean, like, if you look deep enough into battles and you can pick apart what you did wrong, that way you know for next time what not to do, then it's all good. It's all gravy, like Thanksgiving turkey. Woo! God, I love Thanksgiving. Anyways, that is battle number 4. It is time to move on to the last battle. Here we fucking go. So this is it, guys. This is the 5th of 5 battles. So I hope you enjoyed this one. This is a battle I won, and wow. All I can say is wow, dude. Like, this battle was something special. Here we go. Good luck and have fun. And I want everyone to have fun when it comes to battling. So here I am on the other side again. And I go for the Ice Beam after getting burned, which is fine, because I knew that could 2-hit KO Sableye. And then here comes Starmie, and I go for the Ice Beam again. And that does a pretty decent chunk for it being a resisted hit. So I'm taking Burn and Life Orb damage. That's not good. So I go to Bisharp, and it goes to Reflect type. Yo! That's fucking awesome. And then I go for the knockoff, say fuck it. I knock off that Sharp Beak. And then I go for the Sucker Punch, predicting the Brave Bird taken down. Now, of course, I knew I was going to get flinched to death, so this is where I brought in my Clefable, and I brought it in for a good reason. It's like sacrificial lamb. It's like, I need to bring something in safely to take on Togekiss. So you see here, Paralysis is really screwing with me. I get crit and flinched. Oh man, that would make anyone's blood boil. And of course, the person goes for the Thunder Wave again, and I get my wish off. I bring it back in, bring Kieran Black back in, sorry, and I get the crit against me on the Air Slash, and then this, I get... Oh man, it was a little bit frustrating. I needed to take out that freaking flying egg-looking Pokemon. So I needed to preserve my Kyurem. So I bring in Gyarados, and this right here was a very ballsy play. So I Mega Evolve, and it goes for Recover. This is what I do. I go for Substitute. Let the games begin. I go for Dragon Dance, and I knew it was going to taunt me the next turn. So this is where I needed to take that little fucker out. Waterfall to the face. You're done. Of course, here comes Superior. Now I get a little bit of payback here where I get a critical hit on that Waterfall. Like, dude. I knew at that point that the next turn I was going to be able to take it out. And then here comes Starmie. Goes for Waterfall and does barely half. And I knew at that point I could take it out with Earthquake. Take it out with Earthquake, and here comes Togekiss. And I knew he was going to go for Thunder Wave. That's why I went behind a Substitute. And I go for Waterfall, and then, of course, it gets flinched. I'm just like, yes, hallelujah. This kind of makes up for when I got hacked to death. And then, of course, it goes for Air Slash and doesn't even break my Substitute. And then, of course, my opponent forfeits, and that is the game. Sure, sweep didn't necessarily get completed, although I knew that I was going to sweep through this team, but the person forfeited, and I mean, you know what? Like, it was a great battle. For me, I stick it out to the very, very end, because who knows, like, maybe something will happen, and therefore it'll turn the tide in battle, and therefore you can use that as an advantage. But, you know, there's a lot of cases where people just, like, they forfeit or they quit. Because I've faced people like that before, and, you know, they would be kind of sour or bitter about it, or, you know, curse and swear or call names or whatever, and that's not necessary, man. Over a game, like, come on. You win and lose. It's like, the old saying goes, you win some, you lose some. It's really not a big deal. Take something positive from your wins and your losses, and turn that into something that will make you, you know, better at battling, you know? Like, that's... We all start at the beginning. We all are newbies at the beginning, and the only direction that we can go is up. Because we keep on learning and learning and learning and learning on what to do and what not to do during battles, how to predict, how not to over-predict, you know, things like that. And with battling these people, and the added huge benefit of there being great sportsmanship, it motivates me to want to keep on battling. That's why I stepped away from the battling scene for a while, is because I felt like that there was a ton of sour grapes being thrown around, and it was just very toxic to the battling aspect of the game, in my opinion. But I'll actually talk about that in a future video when I go on one of my epic rants, and yeah, just go from there. So, that right there is the last of 5 battles. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a good one, and I shall see you guys next upload.